Ekurhuleni's Germiston. For more now, let's cross live to SABC News reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa. Mbalenhle, a very good afternoon to you. Talk to us about this raid and what can we expect from there?
Well, Alicia, I'm just going to step out of the shot just so that you can see what is happening behind me. And as you can see, the minister is really just speaking to residents here in Germiston who are making their concerns pertaining to crime and so on. We have witnessed some people who ran away, and soon as they saw the police contingent that has arrived here in Germiston to do and conduct that raid, we saw the police running and chasing after people, and we've also seen both the Minister of Police as well as the Mayor of the city of Ekurhuleni entering into one of these buildings. Here with me is the Minister of Police, SenzoMchunu. Thank you so much, sir, for taking the time to speak to us. The issue of hijacked buildings is a problem, particularly in the city of Johannesburg, where we've seen loss of life and fires which have started due to the fact that people are living in unsafe buildings. And yet we see you here trying to reclaim those buildings, as well as to carry out drug busts, as well as try and clamp down on illegal immigration. Why have you chosen to start here, and why are you choosing to start with reclaiming those lost buildings which have been lost to illegal occupants?
Yesterday we had a gathering for the whole day with the city of Ekurhuleni, and the main purpose was to sign the agreement of cooperation. We call it a cooperation agreement between SABC, the province of Gauteng, and the city of Ekurhuleni. We are putting together all our resources. When I say all our resources that are set aside for safety from all the three spheres of government, whether it is personnel, whether it is vehicles, whether it is any other finance to finance activities, but we're putting all those things together. We're lining up our officers so that they face one direction where criminals are. Just in a building down here, it's a building where it is written, what is it? Scrapyard. But when you get inside, there are various homes. I've never seen Mchunu within Mchunu. So the owner is a foreigner. And he hires some space for people to build in Mchunu, and surely electricity and water that works there, the mayor was there. He was sweating to see how he illegally, because if they are using illegal electricity or using electricity illegally and water illegally, it means the mayor is also illegally supplying it. It's a two-way thing.
Certainly.
Therefore, it's a huge problem that we have to tackle, and it requires us to spend a moment, walk on foot, building by building, and deal with all these things.
Well, Minister, I must take you to the city of Johannesburg. What you saw inside there is nothing in comparison to what you see in the city of Johannesburg.
Fortunately, we are going to Johannesburg on Thursday. We are doing a similar thing, signing a cooperation agreement. And once we sign that cooperation agreement, all of us, very, very little sleep, fewer hours to sleep. And as for officers, we told them that they must say to their families, Shail, we are going to be out there most of the hours of the day and night until we are satisfied that we have relatively dealt with criminality and the environment, because we can't be complaining about high levels of crime, but we don't do anything. We go sit somewhere else he goes and fly and go to other countries and so on and leave criminals here.
Minister, what sort of, recourse are we going to see? What sort of law enforcement are we going to see in order to try and reclaim these old buildings that have been illegally occupied, such as the one that you were inside? We know the issue of getting a court order and so on in order to evict people. What processes are you then going to use? What laws are you going to use in order to ensure that you reclaim these buildings?
No, South African police are going to be working together with law enforcement and metro officers. But there's also Home Affairs. As you come across any person here, Home Affairs here to verify whether legal or not legal. So we're now having a huge machinery. And I'm quite impressed with the number of Metro Police, just the number, which means the boots, which means vehicles, which means any other equipment that we need to deal with crime in this city. We are up to it, but we are going to be slowly but sure, and we are going to do it in a sustainable way.
Okay. Now, the issue of counterfeit goods is one that is very topical, and we do understand that one of the things that you will be undertaking while on this raid is closing down shops where you find that there is there are counterfeit goods that are being sold there. Now, the other issue is that there are children who have died in Naledi. 5 children have died after consuming products that they allegedly purchased from an illegally owned spaza shop, right? What are you going to do to ensure that we don't see more children dying as a result of consuming products that have been allegedly laced with poison? Because it seems as though these kids died allegedly from rat poison.
Now, clearly, the issue of poisoned drinks and all of that is now a kind of a trend in Gauteng, or rather some parts of Gauteng. You recall, this is not the first incident. What now means is that we mustn't wait for another incident and then react. It means first we must put intelligence, deploy intelligence to just check the whole of Gauteng. What is it that is happening? We can't just leave it to parents and leave it to schools. We just have to do the profile of all these areas and the owners of these businesses and so on, while checking each and every incident. Surely we're going to get to the bottom of this and deal with it decisively and once and for all. But all these other sins that you are counting, we don't leave anything behind. Any illegal foreigner who doesn't have a right to be here or doesn't have papers, we've already done so. Quite a number of people have been taken today, to 200 and something. And what we're doing, I have an appointment with my colleague in Home Affairs. Very soon that meeting will. We are going to be making sure that we have a process. We find an illegal foreigner here who is not supposed to be here, one way home. That is what we're going to do, because we don't have time to have repeat offenders all the time.
Of course, the law stipulates that in order for someone who is not a South African to invest or to operate a business in South Africa, they must meet a certain threshold of 500,000 rand or 5 million rand. You will correct me if I'm wrong. So are these businesses that are being operated, the spaza shops, the shops that we're seeing everywhere, have they met this threshold? And are your police doing enough to ensure that business is done according to the book, and that, all the laws of this country are respected when businesses are being operated or opened in South Africa?
The mayor is well positioned for those tasks. Otherwise, he himself is going to be under scrutiny. Mayor.
No, exactly. We've been issuing
Mayor, the bylaws, of course. Yeah. This is part of bylaws, and this is this is your speciality, and ensuring that the bylaws are enforced and so on. What are we going to do? I mean, there are also these illegal mushrooming informal traders around the city. The city right now looks like it's dilapidated and it's crumbling due to illegal occupation and possibly what looks like a lack of bylaw enforcement, as well as that law enforcement when it comes to businesses following the law to the T.
That's what we're appreciating with these initiatives, that the minister is down here to ensure that we work much closer, because policing, according to the constitution, is rests with SABC. But of course, there's certain functions that are given to Metro Police to fight crime, to deal with bylaw enforcement, and of course to deal with traffic management. And from just illegal building, we are doing now these, raids, these operations, but we're also mobilizing, business around Germiston, around our cities, to say we are here now. Come back. If you have abandoned your building, come back, work with us to take back the building and ensure that you reinvest back the money. You actually have a proper operation in electricity, water, and all that, so that we bring back, we deal with the, problems that are facing, our cities. We have a very strong, team that is actually working on a trading permits. Everybody from Ugogo, Tengisa, Amagwinya on the side of the road, we go to them, we actually assist them so that they are registered. They have the trading permits. It allows the police to actually know Logogo is here legally and Lendai Tengisa indeed to Tengisa Magwinya. I would underneath Magwinya, Kunenya Kunazo Zongeles indeed Tagamisu. So that's what we're actually doing. And we are happy with the teams that we actually have, even from environmental health, who goes in, check with Lamagwenya, Nabe are off a standard. They go in my shops, across. We're running 3 operations today in Kempton Park, in Germiston, here in Boksburg. We're also looking at whether your goods have expired and to just make sure that our people are consuming the legal stuff and how they are stored. And there are many things that we're coming across, and we're confiscating. You can see the trucks are actually full. And what we like is not just us, the police, EMPD, including community crime fighting units. They've actually came out, from various townships. They're saying they're appreciating this initiative, but they're taking over their own streets. We will be strengthening also street committees, organizing our communities, making sure that street committees are back in action, so that we can actually account for any person, any movement of the car, because we can only defeat crime if we come jointly and work jointly with our communities. Yeah.
Now, Mayor, one of the biggest problems that a lot of mayors face is the issue of alternative accommodation once people have been evicted, and also going to the courts to ensure that, the evictions are done according to the law. Have you experienced challenges in that regard?
Well, just to deal with bylaw enforcement, because police, courts, they assist with a lot of other serious crimes. We've got municipal courts. We're adding extra capacity. Just in the city of Ekurhuleni now, we've employed another 11 additional legal advisors. They are now being given prosecution, rights, so that they can prosecute certain cases. We do not have to go and queue up at the regional courts. And I think it's a capacity that we have to build. If we build more